H-1B is a really important issue for India specifically, because a lot of the businesses go back and forth, and certainly they need access to the US for bringing in a lot of their workers. To talk a bit more about what these two candidates will mean for business, we have with us in the studio Ronak Jani.
Hi, how are you?
He works on mergers and acquisitions and is the founder of Ananta Ventures and Acquisitions. Ronak, you do a lot of work between India and the US.
Correct.
Explain to us how you see this relationship unfold if Trump comes, if Clinton comes.
I think at the end of the day, whether Clinton comes or Trump comes, India benefits. India's going to benefit on both angles. Trump, even though, and neither candidate has talked heavily about India. Neither one. They kept their policies more domestic, more about just with the United States, and not too much about how India will benefit. But they've not talked against India. Here we have Trump with his uncanny words of I love Hindus and I love India. And then you have Clinton, which is trying to push TPP and Transatlantic Partnership and RCEP, all these trade agreements that's going to be happening out there. India's businesses will increase at the end of the day.
Specifically for you, who do you think will be better for business between India and
Republicans have always been much stronger when we look at for businesses. I mean, they are more for the business, less for actual policy and less for the environment and all that. That's been traditional throughout the years. So when we look at the business aspect, yes, we can see that maybe Republicans may do a little bit more. We have Trump already investing within India. I mean, let's not forget, he is already with Lodha Group with a 2,300 crore rupees project in Mumbai, and he has nothing in China. So I do see him obviously giving more into India.
When we've spoken to businesses here, overwhelmingly people have come out and in support of Trump's dropping the tax bracket.
Correct.
And Clinton actually increasing that tax bracket.
Correct.
And businesses obviously always seem to work towards laissez-faire, less interference of government, and that's what any businessman would like. But from an overall point of view of a nation's growth, who do you think will work better?
Tax brackets are extremely important. That's one of the reasons why Apple is outside of the United States. Apple is not inside. That's why you're seeing Microsoft holding money outside, Samsung holding money outside. Nobody wants to bring it into inside because the tax bracket is way too high. If Clinton increases the tax bracket, you will see more companies going overseas and keeping their money in Ireland, in Israel, and all these other places than bringing it into India. Into the United States.
You know the Made in America brand that Trump's really pushing out. What would that mean for Indian manufacturing jobs?
India actually does a lot more what we call assembly base type of jobs. So they're creating specific components, and those components are then brought into the United States. Right now, if we see more for made in USA, they're more focused about the jobs that have been lost in Detroit, in Michigan. You're looking at the automobile industry. You're looking at non-IT sector. I mean, we still have Silicon Valley, which is the richest zip code in the whole country here. So obviously, there is an entire IT industry which is not conflicting with that of India. It is a little bit with China, but not as much. I think with Trump, his support is more about bringing back just the blue-collar workers and their jobs. These individuals you're looking at in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and remember with the unemployment rates, we have 6 different levels. So when we're looking at a U1 level, yes, the economy right now is unemployment of 4.9, but on a U6 level, it's 9.7. So it hasn't gotten that much better. From 12 to 9.7 is not that big of a deal. But we really need to have more of the U.S. blue-collar workers, which are not your white-collar, not your Harvard graduates, not your college educated. And I think that's what he's going after.
If we looked at this whole outsourcing industry, and you've seen some scuffles, if I may call them, in the recent history, there was this scam that came out of India. Now, can things like this impact the relationship negatively? Or does it happen often here as well? Do these scams take place here as well?
The scams definitely takes place. That's why we have WikiLeaks to really kind of come out and trying to let everyone know these things are happening behind closed doors. So those factors are there. I would say outsourcing-wise, a lot of the U.S. jobs that went to India was more in the 90s. We saw that with the blue chip market and everything. Since then, outsourcing has become less from the U.S. into India. It has become more now with U.S., with Brazil, and Latin America. So India is really not in that calculation as much. So again, India will not be affected with the outsourcing aspect of it. Actually, if Trump comes or if Clinton comes, cheap labor is going to be needed. And the only other place besides where you can get cheap labor yet with intellectual labor is India. And with a stable government.
Great. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.